What's good, B-Sounds? It's your boy, Kitchen Raid. Now listen, I was having tea with your nan the other day, playing a bit of mahjong. She mentioned that she'd seen your overhead press, and it's hard to say, so I'm just going to say it straight out. She said it was scruffy and embarrassing. She said that her neighbour Brenda saw you overhead pressing. Brenda had a word with your nan about it, and your nan said that you were adopted. She is very ashamed of you. Now, she's not proud of this. She feels very bad. But she feels badder that your overhead press is so scruffy. She asked me to have a word. I'm having a word. Let's see if we can sort it out. Let's just work ground up. Let's sort out your overhead press and heal your relationship with your nan. All right? It's important. Let's do it. From the ground up then, you are going to want a shoulder width stance with your toes pointing slightly out. You're about to put a lot of weight above your head, so you want a nice, wide, stable base to distribute that weight over. Your toes being pointed slightly out are going to give you a bit more width, but also maintain that forward-backwards balance. Now, your grip on the bar is going to be shoulder width or, again, slightly wider. You want your forearms to be at 90 degrees to the bar, so that weight is directly above your wrist, which is directly above your elbow. And then you're going to sit your triceps on your lats. This is a very stable, stacked position from which to press. You've got a bit of wiggle room, play around what feels good for you, but too tight is going to limit the amount of weight that you can push, even though you are technically still stacked, and too wide is going to take you out of that nice stacked position. It may or may not also annoy your shoulders. It's important that when viewed from the side, your elbows are always in front of the bar. As I said, we are stacked. The weight is pushing down and the elbow is set up nice and stable for it to sit on. As soon as the elbows come behind the bar, there's nothing for that bar to rest on, and it's going to want to tank its way to the floor. So elbows out in front always. Now, whether you've cleaned the weight off the floor or you've pulled it from a rack, you're going to make sure that you are in this stacked position that we've just been talking about. And if not, put the weight back in the rack or back on the floor and adjust your grip there. Don't try and shimmy your grip around under load. Assuming that you're in the right place, you're going to take a deep breath in, holding it in your belly and not your face, and you're going to squeeze your core, your ass, and your legs. That big breath in and squeezing your core is called the Valsalva maneuver. And what you're doing is creating a solid column of air that's pushing out and muscle squeezing in, and that's going to protect your spine, which, as you may know, is a quite important thing to have, a spine. Squeezing your legs is going to stop you dipping and getting your legs involved, and through irradiation, it's also going to allow you to squeeze your ass harder, which is very important for the overhead press, and not just because I'm watching you. Squeezing your ass during the overhead press ensures that when you lean back in order for the bar to clean your face, you are leaning into your hips and not your lumbar spine. Here's what I mean. The ideal path for the bar is directly up, staying over your center of gravity, as in your midfoot. If you push that bar straight up without moving out of the way, you're going to chin yourself. And pressing that bar away from that center of gravity creates a moment arm, making that weight feel much heavier and much more likely to get away from you. So we basically have no other sensible option but to get out of its way. To do that, we have to send the head backwards, and doing that under load without squeezing the glutes tends to put the flex here, your lumbar spine. Its task is to keep you upright, and it doesn't enjoy being crushed. If you want to press a lot of weight without ejecting any vertebrae, it's not a good idea. So squeeze that ass, and that flex comes from leaning into your hips, whose job it is to open and close, letting you walk around. That's its job, so let it do its job. Okay, so we're stacked, we're tight, we're going to press that bar directly up, and we're going to move our head out of the way of that bar by sending the head backwards and the hips forwards. Once the bar passes our forehead, we're going to push the head back through the window now created by our arms. At the very top of the movement, we are shrugging our shoulders, so our traps, our whole upper back is involved in keeping that weight up there. Meaty, stable success. Now reverse the process. Remember to keep the elbows in front of the bar. So my tip would be, think about pushing those elbows forward rather than just re-bending the arms. Your head is going to move back, leaning into the hips and not the lumbar. Elbows still in front of the bar. You've cleared your head, so it's coming back forward. Elbows still in front of the bar. Elbows still in front of the bar. Now, where the bottom of an overhead press is hotly debated. Here's my 2 cents and also the correct answer. As low as you can go, keeping your elbows in front of the bar and staying under tension. Different limb lengths, mobility, and leverages are going to make that different for everyone. But it is your start position. Stacked, resting on your lats, under tension, enough stability to let you grab a new breath, batten down the hatches, and press again. Well, I think the only variable left to talk about is how the bar sits in your hand. And I think that if you aren't experiencing pain, you're doing it right. I used to ardently believe that you should be punched up in the overhead press so that your wrists are straight and the weight is directly above the joint. And I still think that that is a great idea if you suffer from wrist or elbow pain. That's a powerful position to be in. You can get a really tight squeeze on the bar, which is going to help you with tendonitis type pain. I don't think that's the only way to do it anymore. You see Olympic weightlifters who lift a lot more than me with the weight sat way far back in the hand, putting a lot of strain on the wrist. And if you're conditioned to do that and it doesn't cause you any pain and that's how you move the most weight, I say go for it. We are, after all, adaptable machines. Whatever. Starting strength suggests placing the bar diagonally in the hand as you would a kettlebell along this crease. Again, that puts the wrist in a nice, strong position. It gets a part of the bar directly under or directly over the wrist joint. I think there's a few problems with starting strength. I don't think that this is one of them. So go wild, play around. Once again, shoulder width stance, feet slightly out. Grip the bar, shoulder width or slightly wider with forearms at 90 degrees to the bar, elbows in front of the bar. Joints stacked, tries on the lats. Big breath into the belly and not the face. Tighten down the core, the ass, the legs. Press directly up, moving the head out of the way by leaning back slightly into the hips. Slightly, don't make it an incline press. Once the bar passes the face, push your head back through the window, shrug your shoulders at the top of the movement to get some meaty stability. Reverse the movement by pushing your elbows forward, head back, allow the bar to pass, head forward when it does. Stop in your starting position. Elbows still and always in front of the bar. Joints still stacked. Breathe and repeat. Well, go out there and press some big weights, make your nan proud. If you found this useful, do consider subscribing. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers before the year is out. I would be overjoyed if you could help me make that happen. Share, leave a comment, leave a like, all that stuff I would be very grateful for. But whatever you do, now listen because this is important. Whatever you do, get them gains. Be well.